And a very good day to you. And once again, welcome to the program. It's so good to be with you today. I have a very interesting message for you today. I have never, ever, I don't think, shared this message before. And if we go straight to the book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 1. Now, as we know, Job was a farmer just like me. And Job went through a terrible time, remember? Well, listen to this. Job chapter 30 and verse 1. He says, "But now they mock me, men younger than I." And then he goes on to say that the people that are mocking him, he used to employ them. They were like his employees. Those were the guys that fetched and carried things. Now they were mocking him because he had lost everything. To be humiliated is a terrible thing. But sometimes it can teach us a valuable lesson. Because some of us, and I'm talking about myself, nobody else, of course, we can get on our high horses and think that we are something special when we're actually nothing, but by the grace of God. Romans chapter 5, verses 3 and 4, Paul says, "I rejoice in my tribulation. Tribulation worketh patience, patience character, and character hope." So it's through hardships that we learn things. And sometimes, that's right, it's through being humiliated. I looked up the Oxford Dictionary to find out the literal meaning of the word humiliate. It means to injure the dignity and self-respect of someone. I'll say that a second time. To humiliate someone is to injure the dignity and self-respect of someone. To make a fool of someone. That is to be humiliated. There was Job sitting on the ash heap in the middle of town, full of boils, tumors all over his body. He was the richest man in the Middle East before that, and he had nothing, lost everything. And these people that used to work for him were now mocking him and saying, "Well, where's this God of yours that you say that you'll serve?" I want to tell you a little story that put me into my place. I was working in Scotland in 1966. A lot of you weren't even born then. And coming from Africa, I wasn't too familiar with the mud that you get stuck in, okay? Because it's pretty dry in Africa in most places. I was working on a pig farm. That's right. I was waiting to get accepted into agricultural college. And there was an old gentleman, an old man. And he had been around for many years. He was well past retirement age. But he had a part-time job. And he had a fancy Land Rover. And he said to me, "Angus, take the tractor and the trailer and go up into the hills. We've got some dry pigs there, dry sows. I want you to feed them." I said, "No problem." I loaded all the bags on the back. He said, "Now, can you handle this?" I said, "No problem, man. I come from Africa." Ah, dear folks, I was about to be humiliated. So I drove the tractor right up onto the top of the mountain. And then I came to a flat place, and there was like a big puddle, and I went right through the middle of the puddle thinking it would be okay, and I got stuck. And I could not get the tractor out, see? I was a youngster. I didn't come from a farming background. My dad was a blacksmith. I walked all the way down that mountain, and I called that old gentleman, and I said, "I got stuck." He said, "Jump in the Land Rover." He took me up to the top. He got on the tractor, and he put it into four-wheel drive. I said, "I didn't know about that, did I?" Into a diff lock, and he just drove it straight out, got in his Land Rover, and drove back to the office and never said one word. I was totally humiliated. I have never forgotten that as long as I live. Be careful what you say, and be careful what you do. Learn. It's much easier and less painful. Goodbye.